how's it going, everybody? So today I want to talk about some new swords I got. What I have behind me is a sword rack I got from my mother for Easter for some reason. She was like, hey, I know you needed one. So thanks, Mom, love you. So what I bought was the Crossbowman'S Dao and the Dao, or Dao. And so when I got the Dao, a day later, which is my fault, you need to lacquer wraps like that, even on katana, like as soon as you get it. That and clean off the grease, everything. No, nothing's rusty, I cleaned it off, I just didn't do that. So the wrap came a little undone, so I couldn't get the wrap all the way back because the end of the strings kind of like flared out, so I couldn't tuck them. So I just put some hair ties around it, lacquered it, and then I'll cut it off later and put a blue wrap on there. I got a diagram showing me how to rewrap it. Anyway, enough about that. The sword, it's a single-handed saber. The scabbard's beautiful, I gotta say. I really love the scabbard. I've seen from Seafood Cuddles videos and other people's videos from way back the way the sword used to be. It had like a darker brown scabbard. I'm not gonna lie, I really like that muted like red, like burgundy or something. And the only thing I gotta say is that it's got a metal throat. It's hard to say if I like them or not because like pulling it out and putting it back in, it'll definitely scrape against the steel, and it can mess up your blade if you're not careful. So it's a gamble, but it's fine. I'm careful with my swords. And if you notice, this thing kind of looks like a katana. That's because during the Ming Dynasty, on the southern Ming, next to the ocean, they had to fight the Japanese pirates a lot, Wako, and arguably they were more Chinese than Japanese at the end of the time when they were around. But so since the Chinese were battling the Japanese, they thought, hey, let's take some of their designs and make weapons to combat them. And really, this wasn't like the entire military. This was just like the Southern Ming, and they weren't really armed well. They didn't have a lot of armor. They had to do with what they had, and what they had was the weapons that were being used on them. Now, if you saw like northern troops, like in the Imjin War against the samurai, they probably would have like had Guandao and Pudao and all these crazy kind of swords that probably a Japanese soldier has never seen before. So yeah, it's good to know that there's a lot of variety in weapons in China. It was a melting pot, or like cosmopolitan, just like America is, and there's just a lot of different kinds of people, a lot of influence. So it really wouldn't be crazy to see a lot of different kinds of weapons there, but this is unmistakably a Chinese military weapon from the Ming Dynasty that was based off of Japanese weaponry. Now, what do I have to say about the sword itself? Like, how it feels? I love it, man. This thing, like, let's see if we can get a swoosh out of it. Yeah. Yeah, it feels really good in the hand. I just didn't really like the way the wrap feels. It just feels a little too, I don't know, like coarse or something. It's just a little rough on the hands, and that's fine. And it's not a bad wrap though. It feels fine. I can swing it. It's comfy. It's good. So it's real light. I think it's not even like 2 pounds. It might be 2 pounds, but it doesn't feel like it. And I don't have the cool pattern steel on this one, but still very pretty. Still like really well put together. It's also peened on the pommel, so we don't have to rely on glue and wrap to keep the sword together. So yeah, I like the functure style pommel, and I don't know what the term is for the piece under the guard, but it's cool. I like the square. That's what functure means. It's like square themed styling on a weapon. Well, maybe not just on a weapon. In the guard, we got this upturned cup guard, which is, I think this is like the first kind of swords we see with this kind of design, and I wonder why they decided to do that. Because we know, no matter what people say, we know that most parries were done with the flat of the sword on this side. You don't want to hit another sword with your edge on edge, because blades are brittle, and it can chip and roll and break real easily if you don't have good form, and if you're just hitting, you know, some swords are stronger than others, man. If you hit a sword that's made of better steel with yours on blade, it could just destroy your sword. Who knows? It's a it's a really interesting design. I love the cup guard, especially from all the movies I watch, and you don't really see it on any other cultures' weapons, you know. So it's really Chinese, and that's what I like about it. Let's see, anything else? Oh yeah, it's got this to keep your hand in there when you're on horseback or cutting, or, you know, just make sure it don't get out of your hand. Historically, I think first they were used to actually stop your hand from running up on the blade, and that's when they didn't have guards really on their swords. So this was like the first guard, I guess, in a sense. Yeah, this thing's awesome. Qi Guang invented it, a general in the Ming Dynasty in the southern. Well, he was called to fight in the southern front, and you know, really at the end of his career, he was like, guns. Stop using everything else. Just use guns, which is totally understandable, man. I mean, it works. This was his answer to the Japanese threats on the southern border, and it's a great sword for cutting. I'll put in some little clips of me cutting with it. Yeah, thing I have to say about this is that the wrap could have been tighter. That's about it. This sword is practically perfect. if you love the Ming Dynasty and Qi Guang and you like to cut, I mean, and Chinese stuff, I mean, this is the blade for you, Buster. I love it, man. All right. So what if this isn't long enough? You know, this is kind of a short waist saber, which is what I mean. Qi Jia Yao Dao means Qi family waist saber. But what if I wanted to kill somebody like really far away from me, you know? So I think that's where this guy comes in. Oh yeah, the Crossbowman'S Dao. Now I'm gonna be honest. I really wish I got it earlier because I don't like the newer style scabbards on them. I kind of like the Saya Japanese style scabbard they used originally, because like if you look at historical manuals, they just have a Saya. They don't have like a scabbard with all this stuff on it. But it's fine. It's beautiful. I mean, this is leather. You know, they got leather with the iron tip to it, and you know, all iron fittings, or it could be steel. You should always use a softer steel than the blade, because if you accidentally hit anything or ding anything, it could hurt the blade if it's the same or harder steel. So always think about that, I guess. So originally this sword came with a yellow wrap, but I asked KK from Chen to give me a blue one, and he was nice enough to help me out. He actually sent me the sword before I even had to pay for it. He wanted to help me get past the tariffs. So he's like, hey man, I'll send you the sword right now and you can pay for it later. So seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, KK. You're an awesome guy. Chen rocks. They will work with you. Okay, if you're nice and you really care about swords and you like their companies, they will work with you and help you out. And they're just really passionate people about the arts, you know, so buy from them. We have a pretty long handle. Now, I actually compared it to the katana, and it's probably about, like, the blade is probably about 6 inches longer than a normal size katana, at least for my height. Katanas were based on different, on the heights of the person holding it, so there wasn't really like a standard size for a katana. At least I don't think so. So this is really the swords to combat the kind of swords that the Wako were using. Look at this guard, which I love so much. It has 2 phoenixes on it, and then it has 2 dragon horses at the bottom. At least that's what I think they are. I think somebody said they were dragons, but they don't look like dragons. They look like phoenixes to me. And I think on the Changdao, the Imperial Changdao, which is like the really big one, that has dragons on it. So let's stop talking. Let's pull this thing out. Take a look at the blade. Wow! Look at that, Buster. Let's see if I can hold it in the whole camera. This thing is a beast, you know, and surprisingly, I thought it was going to be heavier and shorter. I really did. But it is like one of the best balanced swords I've ever held. Like the lever action on it, like it really just wants to it really wants to swing forward. And it wants to stop too. Like it's not really hard to stop, but it's heavy enough to really give you that authority in the cut, and that's what's cool. This is a real great sword. This is a beautiful great. I would call this a great sword, or an okatana or something. I mean, it's not the size of a normal katana. I think it weighs like 3 pounds, maybe not even. I'm not sure. Let's see if we can get a swoosh out of it. I wanted to get the original kind of steel, like the basic steel that they came with, but they only had this beautiful pattern steel. I don't know if you could really see it, but yeah, it goes along the whole blade, and it's really beautiful. I want to make sure I keep this thing polished because like I don't want to have to work on it after it's all messed up and try to bring that back out. This sword is balanced really well. KK really helped me out getting it. I want to make some videos with it, some more cutting videos with it, because I cut a water bottle last night. I did an ascending cut like that, and the bottle, the top of it flew off and then came back down on top of the bottom half of the bottle. Like that was like the best cut, coolest coincidence ever. I gotta take some videos of this thing. So yeah, so what we have is the Crossbowman's Dao, which was tucked in the waist next to the crossbow for infantry in the southern Ming dynasty. And then we have the Qijia Dao with my blasphemous wrap, handle wrap. But yeah, thanks for coming by and checking out these swords. I will make more videos with them. I really didn't want to talk too much about the history and stuff, because you could just watch Sifu Cuddle or like Scholar General, those guys that could talk about these. I mean, really all I can say is that they were a response to Japanese military technology in China. It doesn't mean that these were all that was used in China, but definitely in that spot where it was relevant, Chinese versions of Japanese weapons were made. And they're pretty cool. And they're bigger. Anyway, have a great day, guys. I'll see you soon.